waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, no, Lord, Lord, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute, I won't waste one more breath, I won't waste one more word in my life. Ooh. Every moment, every step I take, every heartbeat and every breath I breathe, I'm grateful. It's sacred, so beautiful. I feel your precious presence as my life. I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life, and hopefully not yours. I won't waste one more minute of my life. Every conversation is an opportunity to see the light of love shine as our divinity. It's sacred, so beautiful. I feel your precious presence as my life. Come on, y'all. I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. Come on. I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. Let me hear you sing it. Come on, y'all. Come on.
I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute.
I don't care about what I am, or how I've stumbled down. I've got life and good reason to let my spirit soar like a phoenix thundering out of its dust to sing a song of truth. I'm not stuck inside illusions or the fantasy of youth. And I rise and I sail and I pour beyond the walls I built. And I roar like the beast in my hell, yes, singing to the Lord. Oh, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. Come on. I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. I won't waste one minute of my life. I won't waste one more minute of my life. Thank you.
All right, so welcome. We are feeling groovy. We are feeling groovy. This little girl, look at this, is Aria Faye.
Oh, my heart, I can't take it.
Aria Faye is here, and she is feeling groovy. Actually, she's starting to go to sleep.
Good for her.
She's starting to slow down. Yeah, so Karen's going to be talking about that, feeling groovy and slowing down. And I don't know about you, but Oscar, I have not slowed down.
Girl, not even a little bit. Yeah. It's been a little crazy.
And so, you know, isn't that weird? So here we are, we're going for the bliss, right?
Yep.
You're working.
Mm-hmm.
We're loving all the stuff we're doing online for our community.
Yes.
But are you slowing down?
No, I'm
And
not.
Yeah, and how does that feel?
We've talked about this, that we actually, we just have to take time. I mean, it's also what I love about us, is that we're not messing around when we say we are here for you. Yeah. At the same time, we are also going through this pandemic, and so I think it's important that we do take time for ourselves to just stop a little bit and just breathe, and to process and to feel what we're feeling, and not just constantly be giving. So that's something that I've pondered lately, is just how to recharge myself. What about you?
Well,
I mean, look at that.
here's a perfect way of recharging.
I know.
And putting a baby in my arms always reminds me to slow down and be present.
Yes.
Right? And that's the thing, right? I think we become so convinced about our big lives and the expansion into the life of our dreams and manifesting. I mean, we are loving what we're doing with you guys online. There's just no question about it.
Yeah.
And yet I notice this has been the story of my life. And so in the pandemic, I'm faced with, once again, the story of my life. I'm too busy. And that's simply not the spiritual truth.
Yeah.
But I find myself stuck in the story.
Yes.
Right? And so, of course, and then it drives me.
Yes.
Right. So Oscar and I will be listening as intently to Karen's talk.
I cannot wait.
Because we need it, and maybe you do too. I was hearing a lot of interviews, a lot of essential workers, a lot of people that are working from home, really actually feel like they're working more than they have in the past.
Yes.
And it's busy and full.
Yeah.
So for all of us and for you, this message, this is for you.
I'm so excited.
So if I might, I'm going to just play a little medley of some of the songs that started popping out of me when I discovered religious science, because that's what happened. I lived a few miles from Agape for years and years and years, and then moved to Vegas and found religious science. And it's just weird. No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist, or Jew, this door is open. Every morning the light keeps getting brighter as I wake up to the truth. And every day I'm feeling so much lighter, and the world seems fresh and new. What I was taught and the way that I thought stopped serving me long ago. Now I'm learning to trust in the God of all of us. Each day I start anew, and so I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Yeah. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to such sadness. Today is the day I walk away. Every day I walk away. Today is the day I walk away. Here we all are, gathered together in this place. Why are we here? What is our purpose? Spirit reveal. How do we know what's true and what's real? We may not know where life's road will lead, but it doesn't matter long as we believe that God is the answer. God is the answer. God is the answer to whatever the question may be. Oh yeah, we may not know where life's road will lead, but it doesn't matter long as we believe that God is the answer. God is the answer. God is the answer to whatever, whatever the question may be. Whatever the question may be.
Thank you, Eddie Watkins, for that New Thought medley. Oh my gosh, I love the music that New Thought brings forward. And so welcome to CSLDallas, the Center for Spiritual Living. This is one of our newest members. And what we're about is we are radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, and we transform lives. And so if this is your first time to be with us, we want to welcome you. Sit back and relax. And we are going to have a great video from colleagues and friends of mine. We went to ministerial school together, Z. Egloff and Melissa Felipe. It's called A Big Bang, A Biggity Biggity Bang. And actually, I was one of the people behind the camera and helped produce this video. So let's have a big bang together, shall we?
Thoughts and feelings and fears. Oh my, how can I sit still when I want to cry? Or maybe I should have a piece of pie. This is too hard, I don't want to try. My nose has an itch, I will scratch it. But I am not supposed to scratch it. I'm supposed to be still, supposed to be chill. Nirvana will come and I'll catch it. My nose still itches, and now it kinda twitches. If I don't do this right, I won't see the light, but now my nose itches and twitches.
This is the music of the mind. Chatter, chatter. And in the middle you will find. Doesn't matter. All you can do is carry through with the practice of the music of the mind. Oh, oh, oh.
What should I have to eat? It's too bad I don't eat meat. 'Cause if I did, I could have squid, but I hear it tastes like feet. Now everything is very slow. I think I must be in the flow. Oh my God, that was hot! I'm better at this than I thought! My mind is like air, clean and spare. But wait, now I'm thinking a lot. This is too hard, I should quit. I can't get the hang of it. I try and I try, but my mind just flies. It's 'cause I'm a nervous twit.
This is the music of the mind. Chatter, chatter. And in the middle you will find. Doesn't matter. All you can do is carry through with the practice of the music of the mind. Oh, oh, oh.
No, I'm not gonna quit. I'm getting the hang of it. Yes, my mind strays for days and days, but I come back to center and sit. Thoughts and feelings and fears. Oh my, how can I sit still when I want to cry? Or maybe I should have a piece of pie. Thoughts and feelings and fears. Oh my!
This pandemic is a big bang in so many ways. It's a biggity, biggity bang. It's bringing up all kinds of things. I don't know about you, but it is for me. And it's bringing up things in our individual life and in our collective lives. And we can't run away from them right now. They're right in our face. Along with face masks, there's a lot of stuff that's in our face. So you know, in talking to people in our community and our staff, and we're having conversations and we're coming together, it seems as if there's some people that are actually really digging this shelter in place, and they don't necessarily want it to change too fast. And then there's some people that we've talked to that are uncomfortable. They're anxious. They're going stir crazy. They're worried sick, and rightfully so. There's this big spectrum. There seems to be all across the board collectively on how we're each moving through this. And some people are feeling stressed, and some people are feeling groovy. Well, I'm grateful that I've talked to some people that actually feel groovy and have said that they have really slowed down. Slowing down. Have you slowed down your pace during this pandemic? Have your priorities rearranged a little bit, and you've taken the time to see what's important to you? Maybe some things like we talked about that we don't want to hold on to, that we want to let go. Have you discovered what's important because you've slowed down? What things about this shelter in place do you actually love? Because those are some things to hold on to and maybe take into this new normal. Well, I want to slow down. I want to slow down a little bit. I feel like I'm moving too fast. I feel like I want the morning to last. And so I decided, in order to feel groovy, I need to do this talk for me. So I'm doing this talk for me, and it sounds like I'm doing it for Oscar and Petra too, and maybe I'm going to do this for some more people. But regardless, I know you're going to get something good out of this while I give this talk for me, because I need to help me get through this and to slow down. Ernest Holmes tells us, I brought this quote forward because I really love it. He says, "It is written that heaven's day is not limited by time, but is eternally present. It is this day in which we live. Therefore, we should accept happiness as our divine birthright today." Okay, so heaven's day is not limited by time, and yet I tend to feel like most days that I don't have enough of it. And our book of the month, which again I really love, The Not So Big Life by Sarah Suzanka. She talks about this in a chapter about removing clutter. She says, "If you consider an average day in your life, you may be starting to realize that there is time available to do whatever it is you'd like to have time for. But right now, it's invisible because of the way you engage the events and obligations that define it. The art of finding time has primarily to do with seeing how we obscure our desires by filling the day with not very important stuff that we think is impossible to avoid. That impossibility is an illusion. It's a filter covering what's really here, like a filter you put over a camera lens to block out a certain part of the light spectrum. We could have all the time in the world, but if we continue to experience our lives through the same old filters of conditioned behavior and thinking, nothing will ever change. So the first step in finding the space and time in your life to do what you'd really like to be doing is to become aware of your habitual patterns, all of which are based on hidden beliefs. These constitute your own particular filter over reality." So, I've been thinking about this. My day's not limited, but yet I do have particular patterns, and I have some hidden beliefs. And I started wondering, what are they? And once I know, how can I change them and shift them? So, I have one that I discovered. I have a belief that when I do a lot I'm more valuable. I'm more valuable to the people in my life and the people around me and here. And so I want to slow down and change things. I want to do less and be more. And I did this in ministerial school when I wasn't working, and I took 3.5 years of my life, and I deliberately went into ministerial school and said I wanted to learn how to be, because I really knew how to do. I was really good at it. And I know for me, it's challenging to slow down when I feel like I have 100 and hundreds of things that I've got to do. So the thing that I've come to realize during this time is that I've got to focus on what's most important in my day. What is the most important things that I could focus on today? My highest priority. And to make sure that I do those, and then perhaps I could let some of the rest go. And perhaps you could too. You know, to develop our no muscle, because I've developed the yes muscle pretty well. And I need to break a habit that when I'm asked to do something that I actually pause before I say yes and jump into it and say, yes, I can do that. Oh, I can do that. Oh, I can do that. And I'm like doing and doing and doing. And I've realized this, that I don't have to jump in with a yes. I can actually pause and say no sometimes. And every time that I say no to do something, I say yes to be something. And not to fill that void. Because even when I say no, the next thing I know, I'm turning around, and I've got some extra time and I'm filling that void with something else. So I've got to slow down and be. And I've got to move from doobie 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 doo to be do be perhaps, or some combination where the do 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 is not so big. So I want to be more intentional about doing less and being more. That's number one. I've decided that in order to move into this more spacious time, that I could put some space between my tasks and appointments. You know about power naps. Well, what if we do 15-minute be, me, be time? So I'm intentionally going to put some 15 or so minutes be time between some of the task time. And if this sounds valuable to you to start folding this into your life, then maybe you do that. Do some breaks, some be breaks. I want to go back to Susan here in this book. She continues in this chapter and she says, she brought up something really important that I have to admit I have a pattern, and it's a habit that I do. She says, I find that even one phone conversation or a quick glance at my email convinces me that there's something that needs attending to right away. Before I know it, a couple of hours have evaporated and the creative potential of the morning has disappeared along with the time. The trick is to recognize your conditioning and work around it. If I'm aware of an urgent issue, I tend to deal with it right away. The allure of ball juggling is irresistible. But if I don't know about the apparent urgency, it turns out the matter will always wait until I do know about it. And I have the power to determine when I learn about something through the simple discipline of not looking or listening until I'm ready to attend to it. She says that she's uncovered one of her underlying beliefs that she's been conditioned to believe since childhood, and that is, an effective person takes care of problems as soon as they arrive. I think I've got that hidden belief too, that I take care of problems as soon as they arrive. You know, I just had to take care of a problem as soon as it arrived just a moment ago. And like, I got to do this now. This is a problem. I got to do this problem. I didn't slow down. I didn't slow down. I didn't slow down. One of my patterns is I need to commit to myself to step away from the phone and to especially not reach for it first thing in the morning. So one of the new things in order to slow down is I'm going to disconnect and put my phone on a do not disturb mode more and not reach for it all the time, and to not be as tethered to my devices, especially during my meal times, on my day off, whatever it is. So Karen, I'm telling you, you got to start doing this. And they can, and Petra, I imagine, is doing a happy dance right now. Actually, she is off camera, but you can't see her. Oh, she's no longer on camera. She's doing a happy dance. See, our partners could actually really love it more if we slow down. So I don't have to be tethered to my device as much and have it constantly ping and ding and ring. It interrupts what I'm doing. And that puts added stress on me and how quickly I have to respond. You know, I was curious. I haven't looked at this for several years now. I'm wondering, do each of you remember when this thing called the text came out? Oh my gosh. When the text first came out, I think it was like we were expected to respond to this in 7 seconds. Like, hello, how come you haven't gotten back to me? Whatever. And then someone else, did you get my text? Have you ever like experienced this? And it's like 7 seconds. Then I think it did grow a little more. And I think the last time I checked into this, it said 7 minutes, okay? 7 minutes. So I was just wondering. I was like, what is this? I found an article in Fortune magazine. Now, it's a little dated because it's September 2018. That's the most recent I could find. But it says, if you ever sit there wondering why someone won't reply to a text you just sent, you're not alone. According to a new paper from researchers at Google, impatience is a universal condition now. According to their study, messaging etiquette says waiting more than 20 minutes to respond can be seen as rude. Okay, folks, I think we all need to slow down. The universe sure takes its time. It doesn't rush anything into being. And I think we've got two perhaps negative behavioral cycles going on right now. We've got an internal experience of habit and excessive use. I know I do. And an external reinforced cycle of social obligation. So I've got an internal thing going on. I've got a habit. Oh, I got to look at my phone. Oh, what's happening? Oh, the text just went off. I gotta look and see who that is right now. It might be an emergency. It might be an urgent prayer request or whatever it is. But that goes on within me internally. And 9.5 times out of 10, it's not urgent. But I stop what I'm doing and rush to that. And then, on the other hand, I also have this habit, when I send one, I'm just as guilty. And it's like, well, why haven't you responded? I need this answer now. So I'm going to ask us, all of us, we can do this. We can create a new normal. Could we just start to release some expectations of one another, of ourselves? And could we start letting go of this excessive use called devices? I'm going to work on that. The third thing that I've thought about, I've got a pattern. It's a bad pattern. I have to admit that a lot of times I'm thinking about the next thing I've got to get done while I'm doing something right then or with someone right now. So in order to slow down, I've got to be present. I've got to be present to the moment. I've got to be present to the person. I've got to be present to the task. I've got to be mindful with what is here right now. And the more I am present, then the more I actually am this universal presence. And I show up as this presence. The presence only does one thing, and it's multiplicity. But I've got to imagine that spirit, the universal presence, doesn't worry about the next thing. It doesn't think about the next thing. It just is. It is. Right here, right now. So I'm going to be conscious, to be mindful more of whatever I'm doing. And when those thoughts start running me inside, like I'm having a conversation, or I'm having a meal, or whatever it is I'm doing, I'm being here, mindfully, right here, right now. And that's all I need to be, is right here and right now. And to help me, one of the things I've started to recently want to do is, if something runs through me and it's taken me off course, I just jot it down real quick. Okay, do this, and then it's out of my mind. I've released it, I've let it go, and I can be mindful and be present again and back into my grounded self. And I know everyone around me appreciates that more. The fourth thing that I actually have become aware of during this time is I've realized how significantly important it is for me to get out more in nature, to appreciate nature more. I don't know that I could be getting through this without my spiritual practice and my spiritual principles, and to ensure that I am carving time out, even if it's a little time, to get out in nature, to go outside and observe nature. Look at a bird, look at a flower that's just opened up, and go appreciate that. I don't have to drive far. I just need to go out. Yes, she's calling us all in nature. And like those 15-minute be me breaks, I think we can each take 15 to 20 minutes of breaks in our day and go outside. When we were in Australia and we did a walkabout with the Aboriginals, the one thing that I took away from that walkabout is this Aboriginal said, if you want to stay grounded in life itself and the oneness of life, you've got to take off your shoes and put your bare feet on Mother Earth. I'm going to start doing that more. And that means anywhere on Mother Earth, he said, except for cement. But everything else is great. So how about in the next week, let's see if every day we can put our cute little Piggly Wigglies on Mother Earth and be out in nature more. Ernest Holmes tells us, whatever you identify yourself with, you will become like. Whatever you resist, until you make it a reality, you will also become like. This is from one of my favorite books, This Thing Called You. So the last one that I'm going to work on is to find the joy in whatever I'm doing. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. Whatever task I'm doing, whatever it is, look for the joy in that. And to be present with that, to get into the groove of that moment, whatever I'm doing. Let's say I'm washing the dishes. I could be in the joy of their bubbles and to be playful with the little bubbles from the soap or the warm water on my hands, and to look for the joy in whatever I am doing. To feel that joy and to really soak it up. In any conversation, in any task, whatever I am doing, I can be in the joy of that. And I think, and I know how this stuff works, that the more I'm in that joy, I'm going to get in a groove, the groove of joy. Because in the thing called you, this one sentence also really jumped out at me. And it says, life will be to you what you are to it. And it's time for me to slow down, to be present, to be joy, to be that love, that presence of life itself a little more. So I'm going to slow down. I'm going to find my slower pace in this pandemic. I'm going to rearrange my priorities. How about you? Will you slow down? Will you find your slower pace? Will you perhaps rearrange your priorities, discover what's important? And as we each do this, we can take that as we continue, many of us, most of us, to shelter in place a little longer. Find out what we love about this shelter in place and take that into this new normal with us. Slow down. Petra and Oscar are going to help us. They're going to help us find our way to feeling groovy. It's time to feel groovy. And so it is.
Slow down, you move too fast. You got to make the morning last. Just kicking down the cobblestones, looking for fun and feeling groovy. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, feeling groovy. Hello lamppost, what you knowin'? I come to watch your flowers growin'. Ain't you got no rhymes for me? Do-do-do, feeling groovy. Ba-da-da-da-da-da, feeling groovy. Got no deeds to do, no promises to keep. I'm drowsy and ready to sleep. Let the morning time drop all its petals on me. Life, I love you, all is groovy. Feeling groovy. Feeling groovy. Feeling groovy. What is that face?
So you know what was so great about doing that song with Oscar is that he was so present and so calm. And even though I kept messing up, he was like, it's okay. We're just going to do another take, right? And so that's part of what we do with our spirituality. We just get to do another take over and over and over again. And our spiritual mind treatment reminds us each time of what it is that we are moving toward. And we make that declaration. So join me as we go within. We go within into that deep stillness, breathing deep into the core of our being. breathing all the way into the center that is so vast and infinite. Because the center of each one of us, of all life, of every being everywhere, is actually the very center of the universe, the center of the infinite life. One infinite life, absolute stillness, the ultimate paradox. All of creation explodes out of stillness. Stillness is at the center, at the heart, even below the heartbeat, even below the rhythm of the breath. A deep and profound stillness that is the ultimate potentiality of life itself. It isn't anything yet. It's possibility and potential. And so it hasn't been created into anything yet. And there it sits, it lies, as Emerson says, stretched in smiling repose. That stillness is the source of life, the living waters from which all of life pours out into creation. It is the source of my life and your life and the life of all people and all beings everywhere. And when it is said that we drink from the living waters, it is this living water of stillness, of presence, from which we drink. For it is the very source of our being flowing in through and as each one of us all the time. So as we know this truth, I affirm and declare for each one of us that we drink deeply from the cup of life, that we are sourced infinitely from that living wellspring, that we are filled, validated, made whole from the truth that is within us, releasing any need for outer circumstances to reflect back anything other than our greatest joy, our deepest gift, our contribution to life. I declare for each one of us that our doingness springs out of the beingness that is the truth of who we are, and that there is space and time that stretches, for it is of the infinite, eternal presence. There is enough space, there is enough time for all that needs to be done and for all that needs to be. How good it is to breathe into this truth, to know that this is actually the truth, that the doing comes effortlessly out of the being, and that that is the ground of being from which we spring. Releasing any old pattern, any false belief, any idea about how it has been or should be or could be. I release that from the infinite mind, from my mind, from the universal mind, for that is not the spiritual truth. The truth is that there is always enough time to do and enough time to be. How grateful I am to remember this truth, to know that each and every time I remember this truth and speak these words, I realign myself and each one of us with this absolute reality. Recognizing now that the law must reflect back to me and to us the truth I have spoken, I simply release these words, for I know it's already done. How good it is to know the truth, to be grateful that it is so. I let it go, I let it be, and so it is.
We are so grateful. We are so grateful for your continued generosity and giving to this community financially, especially at such a time as this. So you have many ways in which you can give There is the donate button right now on Facebook. If you're on Facebook Live, you can go to our website, and that is CSLDallas.org, and hit donate now. You can also text give, and that number is also right there on the chat room. And so we appreciate all your generosity to continue to bring this incredible spiritual content to you. And speaking of spiritual content, we've got some. And that is, this coming Tuesday night, I continue the Consciously Seeking Spirituality conversations, and this one is a rich one this Tuesday night, and that is Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. My goodness. And we talk about relationships and what it's like during this pandemic, and he brought forward some beautiful things. You do not want to miss that. And don't forget, on Wednesday night, we're still doing a rich meditation and metaphysical conversation. So join us there as well.
And so we've got 2 workshops coming up on the 30th, Saturday the 30th. Karen is going to be doing prosperity in these challenging times. So she's got lots of meaty conversation to have with you, and some great opportunities to think about the consciousness building and creating prosperity right now in the middle of what's going on. So whether there's a challenge with job or finances or whatever that is, or you just want to continue to grow the prosperity that you have, May 30th at 4 p.m., check it out. Then on June 6th, I'm going to be doing a 90-minute workshop on conscious parenting. I know many of us are stuck at home with our kids, and parenting gets really interesting, doesn't it? So there are many ways that we can bring our spirituality to bear in the process. I love to start that conversation with you. So that's Saturday, June 6th. So all of the activities and the workshops you can find on our Facebook page and also on our website, CSLDallas.org.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
You guys, I hope you guys stick around, because we have a Q&A with our very own Rev Karen Fry, and then we have spiritual coaches, licensed spiritual coaches, on standby on Zoom. And that link can be found in the chat below. Ryan will put it up there for you guys. And they will have breakout sessions so you get one-on-one coaching and prayer work with licensed spiritual coaches. It's awesome. So we're going to end you here with Jami Lula and Gary Lynn Floyd's I'm So Grateful to Be Alive. Thank you guys for being here with us.
We're grateful you're with us.
Bye for now.
Bye, guys.
Hello, Dallas.
Good to be back.
Y'all in for a good time. Let me hear you say yeah. Let me hear you say amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Sunshine, your eyes, dewdrops, dragonflies. I'm so grateful I'm alive. 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 How about you? Your voice, waterfall, thrush song, coyote call. Oh yeah, I'm so grateful I'm alive. I'm so grateful I'm alive. I'm so grateful I'm alive.
Sing it with us. Here we go.
I'm so grateful I'm alive. I'm so grateful I'm alive. I'm so grateful I'm alive. Oh yeah. Whoa. Your hug, sweet kiss, so grateful I'm alive. I'm so grateful I'm alive. I'm so grateful I'm alive. The shadows I conceal, endeavor to reveal another part of me, embracing all that I perceive. Cut grass, jasmine bloom, honeysuckle, your room. Oh yeah, I'm so grateful I'm alive. 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 I'm so grateful I'm alive.
Jami Lula, Floyd Lula.